What's good, y'all? We are back with another episode review of Iyanla Fix My Life. This is season 6, episode 9, Sex Workers Addicted to the Struggle. All right, so in your mind, in my mind as well, when you hear addicted to the struggle, it's like, how could anyone ever be addicted to struggling? But it's deeper than rap, okay? Especially if you've lived it, you understand. And so this particular episode documents the experiences of two young ladies. One, Kenitra, 28, the other young lady, Lauren, 27. Both of these young ladies are sex workers, and Kenitra had been doing it, she said, for like 5 years. Lauren had been doing it for about 12 years. Both of them had different sets of circumstances that led them to actually be sex workers, but nonetheless, they ended up traveling the same path in life. So, Kenitra reached out to Iyanla, she said, because she wanted some guidance from somebody who wouldn't judge her. And as we see the episode develop, she did a lot of judging of herself, but we'll get into that. And then Lauren, she reveals a little bit later in the episode, well, she talked about it in the start of the episode too, but she reached out because she really wanted change for herself, and she felt like Iyanla would be the one to help get her on that path. So, Kenitra lost her job, just talking about the circumstances that led them to being sex workers. Kenitra lost her job, and she was a young mom. She got pregnant at 15, and when she got pregnant and refused to have an abortion, her mother left her, okay? And her dad was in jail, in prison. So she was pretty much left alone. And she felt like she had no other alternative. And someone she knew just kind of led her to sex working. And that's just how she started with it. And we also learned that she had a talent for softball, okay? And so she was really into softball, playing sports and everything, but those dreams were derailed from pregnancy at 15, as well as from her having to be a sex worker. Okay, so that's Kenitra. Lauren was a runaway. She ran away from home at 15. Her mom was homeless, so her mom wasn't around. Her father, she said, was a Rolling Stone, okay? Pretty much because she had a whole bunch of different stepmoms along the way. And she saw sex work as her way to make things happen for herself. So that was each individual set of circumstances. Off the break, when Iyanla is talking to them, when they first come to the House of Healing, she could tell that Lauren was very disconnected, okay? Whereas Kenitra wasn't so much. But anyway, so they move on to the first exercise. And Kenitra, aka Monroe, that's her name that she goes by when she's, doing her work. Lauren, aka Tasha, that's her identity when she's working. So they do this exercise where they have these silhouettes, okay? And Iyanla has them take these post-it notes and place the post-it notes on the silhouette describing their identity, okay? So it was pretty much an exercise for them to just really start to pull out what they feel about themselves and just start to try to get them to identify with those different attributes, if you will. So they writing them down, and they're placing them on the silhouettes. Iyanla pulls Lauren aside again because Lauren was clearly hesitant, and disconnected from what was going on. So she pulls her to the side, talks to her, and we find out that Lauren was pretty much trying to help her mom, like get her mom, I guess, off the streets or whatever, and that she suffered from depression. And Iyanla pinpoints how Lauren just wants to get this over with, much like how she treats her tricks, okay? And something that when they started having that conversation, immediately in my mind, I went to how many of us as Black women take on that push through. We take that on just because it's just we just strong like that, you know what I'm saying? We just been conditioned to be strong like that. And of course, like, their circumstances are completely different than, say, mine, for instance. But that whole take on everything and bear everything, and really not take time for ourselves, that's just like a common theme that I've noticed, especially with matriarchs of the family. They tend to bear a lot and just push through because they know they have to. We got to do what we got to do, and that's just what we do. But in their conversation, Iyanla was like, just stop for a minute, okay? And don't treat this process like how you treat your tricks, because this ain't, you're not going to get anything out of it if that's how you treat it. But Lauren is so conditioned to block everything out, okay, that it's just hard for her. And we see, like, throughout the whole process, it's really a struggle for her to really let herself feel, okay? But that was their conversation, okay? And then she has a conversation with Kenitra, okay? And Iyanla says, something is telling me that you like something about this. And Kenitra says, I like the conversations I have with my clients. And I was like, well, considering her circumstances, of course she doesn't like being a sex worker, but when she brought up that she likes the conversations that she has with her clients, in my mind, it made me think of, like, well, maybe, she gets to talk candidly with her clients about things that she never really had a chance to talk to anyone else about. And so, maybe that's what she means, right? I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think, but that's kind of what I got from it. And Iyanla wanted her to visualize how she might have a conversation with her son one day, explaining to him that she's a sex worker and the things that she has to do to support him. And Kenitra said it's embarrassing. Which, I mean, there's a lot of shame and guilt and embarrassment associated with certain professions, but that's all the more reason why it's so important to be able to learn yourself and understand yourself, and be able to tap into the resources you have as a person to show yourself a better way, or even, just taking advantage of being able to reach out to other people and see that there is a different way. But anyway, she goes on to talk about how when she got pregnant, that was the worst thing that ever happened to her. And that's when it started coming out about, the guilt and the weight of that situation, because she felt like she let her folks down because they invested a lot of time and money into her being able to play softball or whatever. But Iyanla took what she said and kind of made a, kind of made it pivot a little bit and was like, look, how about you didn't let them down? They failed you. But see, Kenitra never looked at it like that, okay? Because all this time, she hasn't been able to talk to anybody about it. And she hasn't really been able to feel it and cry about it and get it out. So she also said that the father of her son, how about let him take some of the blame? Let him take some of the weight because you didn't make the baby by yourself. Okay? So, I mean, just you really have to trust yourself, okay? And know that you can make the right decisions and you have the power to steer your situation, okay? And not feel so much at the mercy of other people. And that's real. Like when you feel like you have no control over your own life and you feel like you're at the mercy of everybody else, that's really, really hard to deal with. And I know, okay, I know how that feels. So common themes which I always pull out of watching Iyanla is, again, dealing with abandonment, okay, and rejection, like we dealt with the Mitchell brothers. Kenitra, her mother rolled out, okay. Her father, when she found out she was pregnant and didn't want to have an abortion, her mother rolled out. Her father was in prison. Lauren, her mom wasn't around, and her dad just sounded to me like he just really wasn't too interested in really trying to do too much with Lauren, because she said later on in the episode, like, he really didn't know what to do with me. Okay, so that was that. And that the purpose of that whole first exercise was really to get them to shed their alternate identities and start to really get to know themselves and kind of just step into themselves as the women they are, and not the sex workers that they know themselves to be, and that they've conditioned themselves to be these sex workers who really have no other identity. But that's what that purpose of that exercise was to show them that they can shed that identity and be a woman, be the woman that they want to be, okay? Now, meanwhile, Lauren wants to leave because she was missing the value of the experience. And Iyanla had to, like on the second day of the healing when they were doing yoga. So when she first, okay, hold on. So when she first wanted to leave, she told the producer that she wanted to leave. She ended up not leaving. But the second day, she, during yoga, wanted to leave again. She pretty much literally just threw her hands up and was like, I don't want to do this. I'm out. Basically, I'm tired of these cameras. Iyanla was like, well, why would you come to a TV show when you know that there's cameras and then you just throw your hands up like that? But Iyanla talks to her again and basically tells her, look, this is your opportunity to take advantage of, where we're supporting you, we're giving you everything you ask for, everything you want, everything you need, and not expecting anything from you in return. And you get to choose at this point what you want to do with this opportunity, okay? And it seemed like Iyanla just once again had to point out to her, like, you've been conditioned so long to not feel and not deal with your feelings. And because now you're being confronted with your feelings, I see that you want to retreat, but please don't retreat, because you said too that we were going to be here to the end. So let's do this. Okay. So she stays. Okay. And then there was this Q&A exercise as the second exercise. It was like a question and answer where they had a list of questions that Kenitra and Lauren had to write out their answers to. And the question was, I think it was like, what are you ashamed of? I think was the question. It had something to do with being ashamed. And they Lauren answered, okay, but Kenitra was kind of struggling a little bit. And she ended up saying that she's tired of being strong all the time. And she wants to, be able to be with her kids. And that right there, when Kenitra broke down and said she's tired of being strong all the time, that's very understandable, because again, we don't always take a lot of time to really be vulnerable, okay? And some of us really don't have the opportunity to do that because we are bearing the weight of so much. But it was good to see that she was able to vocalize that and get that out, okay? And then Miss Lauren has a breakthrough, okay? Because Iyanla got her to speak with her truth, pretty much, like, just to, because she said she wanted to be able to stand in her own truth and to know that she's not an evil, mean person that people make her out to be. And that is what Iyanla was waiting to happen. She was waiting for that to happen. And you could see that Lauren almost, when she started crying, like, a lot of that just washed away. And she said, and then they went on to talk about their skills, okay? Because at the beginning of the episode, we heard Kenitra say, like, she couldn't really get a job, but at this particular point in the show, Iyanla points out to them their skills, okay? Because even though you're a sex worker, what you do as a sex worker is not who you are as a person, basically. And at this point, when Iyanla was pointing out their skills, like, you have to be a good salesperson, number one. Number two, you have to be able to negotiate. You have to be determined. You have to have keen observation skills. Like, all of this stuff, all of these things are essential to being employed. Like, you know what I mean? Because I don't know about, like, when I'm looking at jobs, like job descriptions and stuff, and not job descriptions, but like job announcements, all that stuff is listed in there. You know what I'm saying? The ability to be detail oriented, organized, be able to keep track. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know what I'm saying. But they never looked at it like that because no one ever really showed them that they could look at it like that. They just felt doomed to doing what they were doing as sex workers. So that was that. Okay. And then they, like, literally destroyed the silhouettes that they were putting the Post-it notes on. So that was like symbolic of killing Tasha. Yeah, that was symbolic of killing Tasha and Monroe. Okay, because they destroyed them, they threw them away. They're done. Okay, no more Tasha, no more Monroe. You ladies are now Kenitra and Lauren. Okay, and that's what we're gonna move on with. So they get makeovers. All right. And they were so pretty. Like, Lauren had her little hair done with her black and her red and her makeup. She looked so pretty. And Kenitra, she looked pretty. She said that she loved her outfit. And they just looked like they felt differently about themselves, okay? And then they meet Catherine. She's a former sex worker, and she runs a nonprofit. I believe it was a nonprofit for ladies such as Kenitra and Lauren to transition them from their life as a sex worker into a better life as, you know, just a regular everyday citizen, okay? And Miss Catherine, she took and snatched that ponytail off and threw it across the room. I was like, okay, Miss Catherine, okay, girl, okay. I get your point. She made a point, okay? She made a point. But then Iyanla set it up so that Lauren and Kenitra could go to Houston and spend some time with Kathy to, you know, like I said, get them on the road to transitioning away from being a sex worker and just really get them set up for a different kind of life where they can be with their children and have a regular job and everything. So that was cool. I hope that everything, you know, I hope everything pans out for them, you know, once they spend some time in Texas and everything. And maybe, I don't know, eventually we might be able to get an update on them. But this was a good episode. And, you know, Iyanla has a presence. A lot of people, some people like Iyanla, some people don't. And I'll just say it again, I appreciate Iyanla because she definitely has a gift. For her to be able to break down these barriers that a lot of people have up, just by being present with them and being able to talk and speak to them on a level where they can really process what she's saying and not be judgmental, you know. So that was cool. And I'm not sure what the next episode is going to be, but I might come back with a review for that one if I feel like I want to do a review for it. But anyway, y'all, that was Iyanla Fix My Life, Season 6, Episode 9, I believe. And so y'all tell me what y'all think in the comments. Let's chop it up down there. Talk a little bit more about the episode if you like. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and do that. Click the subscribe button. Click your bell, turn your notifications on so you can get notified when I upload new content. And thank you guys so much for watching and supporting. And I will see y'all in the next video.